Hello guys, welcome back to another interesting video. In this video, we are doing a detailed comparison between the top 3 OS, which is Oxygen OS 16, ColorOS 16 and Vivo's Origin OS 6. We'll cover each and every change and features between these 3 OS, and you guys let us know in the comment section, according to you guys, which OS is superior in 2025. But before moving ahead guys, if you find the content useful to you guys, then make sure to smash the like button and also consider subscribing. So here on the table we have 3 phones. Towards the left hand side we have OnePlus 15, in between we have Oppo Find X8, and towards the right hand side we have Vivo X200 FE. You can see all the 3 devices are running on their latest build of their own software. On Oppo and OnePlus, we have received 16.0.1. Here, the device is running Origin OS 6. One thing which I wanted to talk first, and that's the animation. With Origin OS, they have improved the animation a lot, but still even after Origin OS 6, animations on Oxygen OS 16 and ColorOS 16 still leads the market. On Origin OS, the animation is slightly on the slower side, and sometimes you also see stutters. But that's not the case on ColorOS and Oxygen OS. If I compare it with the FunTouch OS, Vivo have improved their animation a lot. Let's see how Vivo works with their new software and how frequently we get the updates. On ColorOS and Oxygen OS, we have the similar charging animation, but that's not the case here on Origin OS 6. The power menu is also same on Oxygen OS and ColorOS, but I prefer the one which is present on Origin OS. This looks more modern. This one we already had on Oxygen OS 15 too. Now let's talk about the customization part, where all the 3 brands have done amazing work. And in the entire UI guys, you'll see this frosted design on all the 3 OS and similar glow effect whenever you tap on any of the number on the lock screen. It's present in the entire UI. In some places on Origin OS 6, it's more towards the liquid glass design. One thing which I like here on Origin OS, and that's the ability to customize the lock screen directly from the lock screen itself. That's not the case here on ColorOS and Oxygen OS. But here we have a different gesture on Origin OS. You need to pinch in to start customizing. But here on ColorOS and Oxygen OS, there is no option to customize directly from the lock screen itself. So for that you need to go to settings, and here you'll have an option of home screen, lock screen and styles. Another good part about Origin OS 6 is you can create combinations. So directly from the lock screen itself, if you scroll down, you can see we have already created some combinations of themes, and directly from here itself you can choose any of the theme and apply it on your device. And why I told you guys about the liquid glass design, if you take a look at this clock, it's more towards the liquid glass design instead of frosted glass design. The customization layout seems to be better on ColorOS and Oxygen OS compared to Origin OS. It's kind of basic here. Talking about themes, on all the 3 OS we have ample amount of themes. But one thing which Oppo needs to fix, and that's convenient way to download the theme. On here, on this device, ColorOS and Oxygen OS, if you see this download mark, if I tap here, it will start downloading the theme. But on Origin OS, even if you tap on this arrow, it will open up a different page, and from here you need to tap on the download button. It takes extra step. Vivo implements it directly here. It will be really great. In terms of customization, Origin OS have different themes. Oxygen OS and ColorOS have kind of similar themes. So once you select any theme, you get direct options to customize the theme. But here on Vivo, you again need to tap customize button to open up the customization section for themes. So here you can see we have a customize option. Now if you tap, now you'll be able to customize the theme. Previously, OnePlus did not add the option to change the clock size, but with the latest update of 16.0.1 on both the devices we do have. But on Origin OS, we already had this option with the first build of Origin OS 6 itself. And on all 3 OS, we do have the option to add widgets. But here OnePlus and ColorOS gives you more widgets option. On Origin OS 6, we have limited options. After that, we have similar stuff like, depth effect, which can be turned off. But one thing which I again want Vivo to fix, and that's the option to give more blur styles or, more styles. Here, if you go to the home screen on both these devices, you can see we have style options where we get few additional styles like Lumia, grid, etc. But on this device, we only have one option, and that to blur. But here also, Vivo haven't given the option to change the intensity, like how we get to see on ColorOS and Oxygen OS. Though on ColorOS and Oxygen OS, we do get more options. You can directly customize the icons. And while talking about the icons guys, on OnePlus smartphones, we do have this new icon pack which is called Flux. You can select the options like, watch wallpaper color or adapt to system color. And now with Oxygen OS 16, almost every app installed on your device will adapt to the same color depending on what you have set. On Origin OS 6, that's not the case. Even if you select apply color to icons, you'll see not every application is adapting to the color palette. But on Origin OS, you get additional options to customize, face recognition, charging animations can be customized, USB insertion animations can be customized, and even things like screen on and off transition. So these extra things which I personally like on Vivo. But in terms of overall customization, I would say ColorOS and Oxygen OS leads here. There's no full screen always on display on Vivo X200 FE, and the same thing even Oppo Find X doesn't have. But on OnePlus, we do have the full screen always on display option, and now with the latest update, you can also set it to all day. And one thing which I really like on Origin OS 6, and those are flip cards. So here what you can do, you can add multiple wallpapers on the lock screen, including the video effect. And here you have gallery option where you can see I've added 3 wallpapers, and whenever I slightly tilt my device either left or right, you have that nice transition and the wallpapers also gets changed. Same way you can also add the video effect. But these things are missing here on ColorOS and Oxygen OS. On Origin OS, you can choose between classic and custom clock styles, and the same thing goes for the font and colors. But AI features for the customizations are missing on Origin OS 6, where you can create your custom text based on the wallpaper. That thing is not available on Origin OS 6. Now let's talk about the home screen customization. So on ColorOS and Oxygen OS, we do have ample options to customize the home screen. But that's not the case here on Origin OS. While talking about enlarging app icon and folders, so app icon cannot be enlarged currently on Origin OS, but you can still enlarge the folders. But on Oxygen OS and ColorOS, you can individually enlarge the app icons in different shapes, and you can also add shortcuts if you want to. So here if I long press on the app icon, you can see we got 2 options where I can add the shortcut. That's not the case here on Vivo. You can use the slide gesture. Using slide gesture, you can see it's not that smooth what we get to see here on ColorOS and Oxygen OS. On Origin OS, you can enable the dock similar to what we see on iPhones. And this is how it looks if you have enabled it. And on Origin OS 6, you'll also get this slide gesture. So if you slide this dock or the applications present on the dock, you'll be directly able to open the private safe. Though private safe is present on both the OS, ColorOS and Oxygen OS also, but I did like how they have implemented on the home screen. Now talking about the control center, so on ColorOS and Origin OS 6, we have better transparency compared to Oxygen OS 16, and I personally like the transparency present on ColorOS and Origin OS 6. But while talking about the customization of control center, I would say Oxygen OS and ColorOS have done a lot better. Origin OS 6, we get basic options, but on Oxygen OS and ColorOS, now slide any tile towards the top side and that will adapt the horizontal shape. So for example, if I long press here and drop it over here, you can see the shape of that tile have been changed. Here we have some basic customization options. On all 3 OS, we do have the support of stack notifications along with a stacked recents page. But some minor touch-ons what Vivo have given. For example, if I long press on the brightness slider, I do get options like auto brightness, dark mode, eye protection. That's not the case here if I long press on brightness slider on ColorOS or even Oxygen OS. And in the control center of Origin OS 6, you cannot remove these huge tiles. But that's not the case. We can remove the huge tiles on Oxygen OS and ColorOS. App drawer did not get updated on Origin OS 6, wherein if you take a look at the other 2 OS, they have added the option of categories also. But the category option is not present directly inside the app drawer on Origin OS 6. And also they haven't moved the search bar towards the bottom side. I think that's a better option to have it towards the bottom side for easy search. But one good thing here on Origin OS 6, like you can select multiple applications and you can create your own folder with those applications directly in the app drawer. See, one thing which I personally like, and initially I was thinking, the live alert support is better on ColorOS and Oxygen OS, but Origin OS have nailed it. And it's called Origin Island. So let me give you a few examples why it is better. So for example, if you copy any phone or URL, let me show you an example over here. So from the Notes application, what I'll do, first I'll copy this number. Now if I long press on this number, drag it, you can see I've got the options to save it to the contacts or directly make a call. And if I still want, I can send it through SMS, save it in Notes, etc. Same way, if you have any URL, this is the URL, I'll just long press on it, scroll it, you can see I got the suggestions to directly open the URL in the Chrome. A very thoughtful add-on what they have done. After that, now if I play any music here, so let's play one song, and now if I go to the home screen and tap on the live alert, you can see live alert looks a lot better on Origin OS 6. Depending on the thumbnail colors of that particular song, you'll see these glowing effects acting as equalizers, which gives a great look. And another thing, if you see the transition, for example, if I slide towards the right hand side, it goes from the right and then goes to the status bar. Similar way, if I slide it from the left side, it will go from the left side. A very minor touch on, but looks really good. Those background effects are not to be seen on ColorOS and Oxygen OS. And all the 3 OS do have the multiple app support for for the live alert. And similar way, if I open any photo, long press on it, drag it, you'll see I've got the suggestions to share the photos also. That's not the case here on OnePlus smartphones with the latest update, or I mean the OxygenOS 16 and ColorOS 16. You can long press on the photo, use the other finger to open any other application, and then you can drop that photo wherever you want to. On all the three OS, we do have a dedicated video editor now. So if I select any video, so here we have the video, tapping on edit. Here also if you tap on edit, once you scroll towards the right hand side, you will see a pro option. And from here you can edit your videos on the go. ColorOS and OxygenOS do have a upper hand, like you can export the video at max 4K 120 FPS. But on OriginOS we have max resolution of 4K 60 FPS. You'll see some similar AI options present here on all the three OS, like AI Eraser, AI Relight, Perfect Shot. But here on OriginOS, I did like this expansion feature which is not present on ColorOS and OxygenOS. Here you can expand the area how much ever you want to, and later on based on that particular photo, AI will generate the empty space. So once you tap on start expansion, there you can see how AI have expanded the area, and here you can see before and after. Also OnePlus and ColorOS do have these additional options in the smart sidebar which are yet to be added. I mean the AI features. Screen translation and all these things are similar, but if you see here on OxygenOS and ColorOS, we do have features like article summary, AI speak. Such things are missing on the initial build of OriginOS 6. Nowadays every brand is trying to add AI features, so in the future updates we might get to see more AI features on OriginOS 6. Then talking about other AI features which can be found in the applications like Notes, and these are kind of similar features what you get inside the Notes, where you can write anything, create post, change the format, etc. But ColorOS and OxygenOS, even the older devices have got the feature of Mindspace, which can be triggered either using the button. So if the physical button is not present, you can use the gesture of sliding with 3 fingers. That will trigger Mindspace application. So features like Mindspace, you won't find it on OriginOS 6. In the recorder application, we have similar stuff, like you can see the live translation while recording any video, and later on you can create a summary of that. And about the settings page, I would say Vivo still needs to improve here when it comes to the looks of settings page. On ColorOS and OxygenOS, they have actually worked on it. And they have also added AI search feature, like you can see towards the top side we get an option find more with AI search. Though on all the three OS we do have the cross connection support, where you can connect your device to PC and transfer files or access notifications directly from the PC itself. OnePlus do get some additional options, like gloves mode. It's nice to see that even on OriginOS we do have this feature called motion prompt, similar to what we have seen on OnePlus 15, but it's not been added on other OnePlus devices with OxygenOS 16 update, and it's a really good feature for people having motion sickness. So guys, this was the detailed comparison between OxygenOS 16, ColorOS 16 and Vivo's OriginOS 6. Let me know according to you guys which OS is superior and what are your thoughts about OriginOS 6. And meanwhile, if you guys have any kind of questions, let me know in the comment section below. This is your friend Ashok signing out. See you guys in the next video.